Orejele nke ikpeazụ a. Biko onye ọmadụ mmasị gị kpukọta oche gị nso bịa godi gara akụkọ ihe merela aka ọtụ tata ka ị gara egodi ihe merela ụlọ ikpe otu onye akaebe si were ala oyi ejimaka ji ajụjụ were gasasị mụmụ onye si na ọ bụ onye akaekpe ndị Naijiria isi just kpukọta ọbara uru ka ị nụ n'ọnụ m just gee ntị just lawọchi like laghachi ya biko nke ebe ọ nụrụ ka ọrụ bịa kpọọ ndị vileji nne gbakọrọ ka nne wọchị enyi n'uju akụkọ ụwa anyị abịala ụbọchị ọzọ n'oge gbamgbam dindi ebe ọ na-akpọtụ ụlọ igwe okwu Okwute BTV asị m n'oge ọbụla anyị bịara n'oge gbamgbam dindi anyị bịa wetara gị nye ome dịka o si wee gbatakwụrụ na njem nnwere onwe nke ala Biafra. Anyị chọrọ ime ka ị mata na obukwa okele ọrụ dịrị gị ịkwado nnwere onwe nke ala Biafra site na ịsọpọtụ BDF bụ Biafra Liberation Army ka anyị were zọọ ala anyị were nweta onwe anyị na ọ bụ mkpa ọ dị na ngị nwa ga-eti ego gị were zụta nnwere onwe. Mgba kpụkọta oche gị nso ka ntị gazila esimoru ọkwanye nta akụkọ ka mbụ adịghị ama ebe ozi ya si ebara gị libuli igwe okwu Okwute BTV ebe e na-ekwu eziokwu na-akwụghị mmiri ma ọlị ka m na-akọ akụkọ ụwa tata achọrọ m ime ka ị matala Maazị Nnamdi Kanu gara ụlọ ikpe nke ndị Zoo na ọnwa Eprel gbara 29 ọ gakwa ụlọ ikpe ka ọnwa Mee gbara 2nd ịnọrọ inye ajụrụ ya n'ụlọ ikpe. Mgbe ọ gara na ụlọ ikpe 29 ewere sịla enwere onye akaebe dịka m kọrọ nna na mbụ ewere kpute mmanwụ ahụ ewere gbaba akaebe were kwụsị ihe ọfụla akpa Maazị Nnamdi Kanu o ji were fụ laptọp o ji were fụ iPad o ji were fụ earphone o ji were fụ Biafra flag o ji were fụ oche plastik o ji were fụ cotton board o ji were fụ toothpick onye aka ọgwụ kọtịgo la onye aka ọgwụchara o were ruo 2nd of May. Ala oyi ejimakọ bụ onye ọkaikpe Maazị Nnamdi Kanu ewere jụba onye solo ọba onye akaebe ndị Naijiria. Ọ bụghị ka nne nụ n'ọnụ m la mala akụka kama ka nne nụ n'ọnụ nwanne anyị nwoke a ka nne nụgodi den imechazie ka ị nụrụ ya ịgwazie m ihe ị chere ịgba m n'obodo ụmụ anụmanụ ma ọ bụ obodo kwesịrị ka mụ na gị nọrọ ka ọ bụ obodo ga-abụ ka emebie ya onye ọbụla labara onwe genụ.
You see, if there is one thing I learned from my father, it is to always finish what I start. Okay. So since I have started giving you updates on the resumption of trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, now let us review the latest development. There was another court sitting yesterday. Hell. And if you remember, the first court sitting on Tuesday was mainly for the government witness to come and testify against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So for the sitting yesterday, it was now time for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers to interrogate the witness. Something they call cross-examination.
Hold this man in the first place.
And those Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers, those men are not really smiling. Especially the lead counsel.
You don't know.
He really put that witness on a hot seat. If not for that mask he was wearing, we would have seen sweat coming out from his nose.
Jay!
You know that kind of situation where eyewitness no go fit talk wetin eye see again. At some point, the witness was looking at the judge for help.
Look at you.
Now, they asked him so many, interesting and intellectual questions, which I can't fuse into this video for want of time. But I have been able to pick out and summarize these questions into 8 very interesting and critical questions. So let us highlight the 8 most interesting and critical questions that the lawyers asked the witness and how the witness answered to these questions.
Continue.
Now, the number 1 question of interest, the lawyer asked the witness, did you find any object of terrorism on my defendant when you arrested him? And the witness replied, no.
You get it?
Second question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, did you find any offensive object on my defendant? And the witness replied, The objects we found on him might not be offensive, but the actions behind the objects are offensive.
You think so they wise?
It's just like MC Jollof accusing a man of trying to kill me with acid.
Hell.
Now they ask me, did you find this man holding an acid? I said no, he was holding water.
She what?
They now ask me, this water he is holding, is it offensive? And I said no. Water in its natural form, H2O, is not offensive. But water in the hands of this man can turn to acid.
Oh, I'm not too much.
But let's move on. Third question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, do you know any other person that is standing in trial with my defendant? And the witness said, I don't know. So the lawyer continued. So according to your knowledge, my defendant is the only person involved in this agitation. The witness replied, that is not true.
No problem.
The lawyer said, okay, who are the rest? The witness replied, from what I read on social media, I know of Simon Eba.
Really?
Now the lawyer asked, so because of what you read on social media, you want this honorable court to sentence my defendant to death?
Yeah, maybe one.
The witness replied, I have said what I know. The lawyer asked him again, this name you mentioned, is he standing in trial with my defendant? The witness said, I don't know. The only thing I know is that he was arrested.
Okay.
The lawyer was that is not what I asked you. Is he standing in trial with my defendant? The witness replied, I don't know.
Hell.
And the lawyer told him, we are taking into account all the I don't knows that you have said in this court today. Now, fourth question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, is my defendant charged with damaging any property of a person or the government? The witness replied, he is charged with terrorism.
Shut up.
The lawyer was like, that is not what I asked you. Is he charged with damaging anyone's property?
We must learn a lesson.
The witness replied, he might not have damaged the property personally, but he damaged it remotely because he instructed people to damage properties of government.
A town hall.
Now the lawyer asked him, do you know any single person that damaged any government property on the instruction of my defendant? The witness replied, it is not my duty to answer that question.
It is smoky book.
He come look judge. Come realize that the judge no send him papa. Now, fifth question of interest. The lawyer asked the the witness, do you know that there have been killings in Kaduna, Zamfara, Plateau, and Benue? Do you know that villages have been attacked, schools, mosques, and churches, and people have been unalive? Are these killings and unrest related to the agitation for separation of states? The witness replied, no. Sixth question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, do you know that my defendant said that this country is suffering from corruption? The witness replied, that question is not supposed to be put to me.
Look at you.
Then the judge reminded him that he is not in any position to decide which question should be put to him and which one should not be put to him.
We must learn a lesson.
Now, seventh question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, are you aware that my defendant said that this country lacks infrastructure? The witness replied, I don't know. The only thing I know is that he called the country a zoo.
Okay.
The lawyer added, is it a crime for someone to propagate an ideology? The witness said no. Now, eighth question of interest. The lawyer asked the witness, do you know any IPOB member? The witness said no. but I have seen him on live broadcast issuing instruction to IPOB members.
Photo.
The lawyer asked the witness, so which states are these IPOB messages directed to? The witness said majority of Southeast and some South states. The lawyer now asked the witness, these states that you mentioned, do they have governors, legislators, and security personnel who are constitutionally established and who receive federal allocation? The witness replied yes. Now, the lawyer asked the witness, does it mean that the people of these states do not take instructions from their elected representatives? The witness said, I don't know. The only thing I know is that there are people in these states who take instructions from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the lawyer asked him, do you have any evidence to that? He said, no.
We don't know why it's going on.
So, this is how far it has gone with the last trial. And I'm going to be keeping tabs on the trial as it progresses to bring you more updates.
Continue.
But according to what the judge said, he said this case has lingered for 10 years and he's not going to allow it to linger further. That before 10th of May, that this case is going to be resolved.
Clap for that.
So we are keeping our fingers crossed. But please, just if you have any time to spare, just remember that witness in your next prayers. Because the kind of question that they bombarded him with, it is too much for one person to answer.
Thank you for watching. On your mala dem obolinya ile mena masika. I say share this message. Kandala maginya lemenu, matinya lemenu. All dem make piakala share button. Make ya sure they share ya. Me obolinya ile me de gemma. Obolinya ile ma de hogemma e share kwaria. Onuru kori bia nya ibera bu ka izota nwuru nwu nke ala Biafra. Ngbana ko ba start mara anya mma.